What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another Chance Encounter. Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. Power lines that are just kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg. I'm joined today with Rowena. How you doing today, Rowena?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Oh, I can't really complain. Now, for those of you in the audience who've never seen a Chance Encounter before, this is how it works. I've got the motivations that commercial real estate investors, the guests that I'm interviewing, I've narrowed down the motivations for getting commercial properties down to 5. I go through all 5 of them. I say, which one of these is you? And then I go through the 6 different roles in a commercial deal. And I say, what is your core competency? But the other thing that's important on top of the role that you're going to play, to be successful in this business, you have to be able to effectively introduce yourself. So Rowena, could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Sure. My name is Rowena Agustin. I am a child of God. I have very strong in my faith. I'm a wife and a mother of 3, and I am focusing on raising capital for multifamily syndication deals right now.
Okay, excellent. So that on our little Dan Does Deal die, that means that part's a financier, but we'll get that to in a second. So I hit this, and then I hit that. And then I go, good, that's the right one. And I hit this button and kaboom. And I need to go back to this program here because it's misbehaving. Come on, cursor. You can do it. Here it comes. There we go. There's that. That's over here. And I need to hit this right there. Display capture. There we go. And now I minimize this. And now it's back. Much better. So the motivation piece, even beginners know their motivation, but often beginners won't know the role. So I go through motivation first. So the 5 different motivations are, first one is preserving your purchasing power. So if you depend on the cash flow or the income that comes from your wealth in order to make ends meet, you have to keep on making acquisitions or else you risk losing the purchasing power that you have. So if that's your case, maybe you have a family office or something like that, that's the main reason why they want to make acquisitions. It's just to stave off inflation. The next reason for wanting a commercial deal is my one, which is that as a high earner in tech, in e-commerce, mass marketing, lots and lots of emails each month and all that sort of stuff, I have that option of getting the high salary, but I'm also paying the highest level of tax, which is tax from income, from salary. So it makes more sense to me to pivot into becoming one of the partners, and then that way I'm working for equity instead. And so that way I'm building wealth and I'm just skipping that intermediate step. It just makes a lot more sense. So that's my reason for doing all this stuff. But the next most common reason is that people are looking to fast track their retirement. And one of the important things about fast tracking your retirement is it implies that there's an end in sight. Okay, so some people, they might want to move to another country where the cost of living is low at some point, live on a beach, and for that, they need to become an accredited investor and not much more in order to be able to afford that long term. So if that's what's your motivation, you're fast tracking your retirement. But the next group, they are the super ambitious people. They want to buy their entire hometown. They're going to keep on working and hustling even to their 90s or something like that. And because they're looking to get generational wealth, like they don't want their great grandchildren to have a day job or something like that. That level of ambition, that's what's going on with these guys. But there's also in contrast to this one, there's the last one, which is a lot of people realize that the best vehicle there is for making a big difference in society is through accumulation of wealth. So they're thinking if I get more assets, more cash flowing assets, then that means in my will or whatever, when I'm giving back to the causes that are most important to me, or I want to have the biggest impact I can, then they might be looking at these commercial real estate investments for that reason. Is they have some group of society that they want to help more, and that's what's going on. I mentioned the tenants right here, so that might be the more direct one, but what I really mean is a part of society. So those are the 5 different motivations. Out of those, what's the best description of your motivation in those contexts?
Yeah, so I was just fortunate enough and blessed to be able to retire just last week. So um, right now I'm focused on making an impact. So I would say the last one was just
All right.
also like an impact.
Okay, good stuff. And so, as far as the commercial deals go, my next question has to do with what Rowena's role is going to be, but I'll go through all 6 of them for you in the audience. We'll start off with the repositioners. A repositioner is somebody who looks at a whole bunch of different properties and they go, which ones actually have some upside? Which ones have more opportunity? The only way you can do that is by underwriting it, which is the fancy word for doing all of the math, making sure that it all works out as a business. But the other responsibility of a repositioner is understanding the business so that they can make more upside. So the 2 ways that they end up doing that is one is more efficient operations. So that's reducing costs, or it also can be in more effective marketing. Like the leasing agent is responsible for making sure that the vacancy rate is really low, but bookkeeping, all that kind of stuff that has to do with the money, that's all operations. But right now we're in such a hot real estate market, that's not likely going to cut it in a lot of cases. So the repositioner's other tool for upside is getting a contractor team. So they get some contractors in to fix the place up, make it nicer, use higher quality materials, just basically anything they can do as far as amenities or anything like that, so that they can charge higher rents, because that means more cash is coming in. But one issue that a repositioner might run into, especially if in my situation, because I'm from the internet, they're going to need a local. They're going to need somebody nearby who can check in and on an hour or two's notice, but also keep tabs on the operations team, making sure they're not cutting corners, and same with the contracting team. And that's who most people think of when they think about ownership of a building, but it's not that simple. There's still financiers, the bank, also the capital raisers, all of those different types of financiers. They're where the money's actually coming from. So if you want to buy an apartment complex that costs $10 million, you're going to have to hit up the bank and say, hey, can you lend me, say, $10 million or so? And what they're going to be asking, they're going to say, okay, so there's the property, that's all cool. But one of the things they're going to want for the loan is they're going to need a sponsor or a KP. And what that is, that's a person who already owns a similar asset. So if Elon Musk decides that he wants to get into the apartment complex business, but he wants to use other people's money, in other words, they want to get a loan, then they're going to have somebody in the fold who already owns a 350 unit apartment complex, whatever it is he's buying. He has to have the similar asset. Now, the only other restrictions is there has to be some liquidity in there on hand, and then you also have to have a balance sheet equal to the amount of the loan. But those 6 pieces put together, you've got a commercial real estate deal. So Rowena, what would you say is your core competency, or what you're most likely to contribute to your next commercial deal?
I would say the financier, raising capital. I love
Mm-hmm.
meeting with people and making connections and providing value and opportunity to help people achieve financial freedom.
Okay, great. So then I guess you're also being somewhat of a repositioner as well, because you're also involved in some sort of deal finding. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But so like through networking is the way that you find the deals, but you have access to the capital already. Okay. All right, cool. That works. And so the next question I have for all the investors I have on here, I call it a buy box. In other words, it's an ideal property. And so that's going to be the unit count, and it's also going to be the geographic area, like which states are you more interested in, and the class. So Rowena, what is your buy box? What's your ideal property where it's easier to say yes, or at least it's more difficult to say no to, as far as a commercial property?
Yeah, focused on BC class assets, value add over 100 units in the Southeast markets.
Okay, great. And so, yeah, we got all of those. And what's the best way to reach out to you? We met somewhat a couple times at some meetups that I found through LinkedIn. Is LinkedIn the best way to reach you, or do you have a website or something?
Yeah, I have a website, truepurposecapital.com. It's TRU and then purposecapital.com.
Okay, great. All right, cool. And the other thing that I want to mention too, that's how you get a hold of Rowena. But one of my favorite things about commercial real estate in general is that people are so supportive and they like to help each other, because you never know when you're going to need what side of the die, and nobody can be all of them any of the time. So and don't get me wrong, you have to, like, a lot of people have to understand the entire die thoroughly, just out of fiduciary duty or whatnot. But as far as you go, could you please describe, without breaking any SEC restrictions, which means you're not allowed to entice investors, that's not okay, but could you please describe the person in real estate that you could help more than anybody else? Like maybe you're looking more for beginners or experienced operators, or like who is it that you find that you are best suited to help in real estate right now?
Well, just similar to my case, I was working a W-2 job, and when you're working a full-time job, you have kids, it's really hard to find that balance
Hmm.
with working. And so what I would like to do is help people that are like in a similar situation, that's just being burned out by work and not being able to balance work and family.
Hmm.
So that's my target audience, helping them provide opportunity for them to get to financial independence.
Excellent, excellent. And for those of you in the audience, if you don't know me, I'm Dan Fredenberg. My background is in mass marketing, e-commerce technology. So that's lead capture, that's online sales funnels, and all that sort of exciting stuff. But I co-GP with teams in my programming and other elements like that in what I do. But the really thing that I'm trying to emphasize to you is, if you look under my left hand over here, you'll notice a button that should make you really mad. It's red and it says subscribe. And the only way to make it not awful is by clicking on it and turning it gray, because that means that YouTube pays for these videos instead of me, which is way better. This is a very expensive hobby. So please do me a favor and click on that subscribe button. It's totally free, and it just means that my videos might show up on your list of suggestions. And you'd be doing me an enormous favor, even if you never click on any of those suggestions ever, just like Rowena has done me a ginormous favor joining me today. This has been fantastic. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, awesome.